Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Today is Thursday, the 20th of August 2020. Yesterday, Saudi Arabia broke its silence about the recognition of Israel by UAE. This announcement was made not in Riyadh but in Berlin by the Saudi Foreign Minister Prince Faisal bin Farhan. He said that Saudi Arabia would abide by a peace agreement with the Palestinians first before anything else. There was an Arab initiative by the Saudis a few years back in which they gave their version of peace for Palestine. Meanwhile, the Palestinians have thanked the Pakistani Prime Minister Imran Khan for showing support for the Palestinian cause. The Pakistani Prime Minister very clearly indicated that Pakistan would stand by the Palestinians. But there is one thing which I want to point out: the initial reaction by the Pakistani Foreign Office regarding the UAE recognition of Israel, or the peace agreement that the UAE had concluded with Israel, was that Pakistan believes in the two states concept. The two-state concept means that both Israel and Palestine should have a state in the area that belongs to Palestine, and that appears to be more or less the stance of the world at large and the Arabs also. This is in stark contrast to the initial Palestinian and Arab position in which they considered Israel to be an illegal entity. So over 70 years, the world and the Arabs and Muslims also have accepted Israel as an entity. They're no longer calling it illegal, and they just want that the Palestinians should also have some kind of autonomy in the areas where they live. We know that the Palestinians have been severely restricted. They only live in the Gaza Strip and the West Bank, and the Israelis have been gobbling up their areas with illegal annexations, illegal housing schemes. We also know that after Trump came into power, one of the first actions that he took was he shifted the American embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. And also some time back, Jared Kushner also announced a peace plan for Palestine, in which he promised a huge amount of investment, in which what he wanted from the Arabs and Palestinians was clear-cut recognition of Israel. So we know that a lot has happened in the Middle East recently, not just in the recognition of Israel. We know that there's upheaval and tumult in Lebanon. We know there is civil war still raging in Syria. We know there are problems in Libya. We know that there is unrest in Yemen. So the basic thing here is that in this tumult, in this chaos, the righteousness of the Palestinian cause should not be lost. They are one of the most oppressed people in the world. The Palestinians, the Kashmiris and the Rohingyas, they deserve a voice. They deserve a peaceful settlement to their legitimate rights. I will be waiting for your comments. Thank you very much.